From threats you know and fear to ones you need to be on the lookout for, join me as I show you 8 of the most dangerous ocean creatures in the world. Number 8. Barracuda. There are many different types of deadly when it comes to the creatures of the oceans, and barracudas are without a doubt one of the most dangerous things in the ocean today for a whole host of reasons. For example, the creature is a massive 6 feet in length on average, which makes it taller than the average adult human if you were to put them next to one another. Then, when you look at its mouth, you'll see that the creature has a massive set of teeth, which features both large and small teeth for various purposes. It'll hook you with those massive front ones, and then it'll rip you to bits with the smaller ones that fill the rest of the mouth. What you might not realize, though, is that there are over 22 species of barracuda out there in the world today, and one of them, the great barracuda, is known to attack humans rather regularly. So if you plan on going into certain oceans, you should probably look up and see if barracudas are in the vicinity. By and large, though, the main reason to fear the barracuda is because of its speed. It's been called a torpedo before because it'll launch itself at foes with blinding speed and then slam into them to stun them before going to town with its teeth. In Florida one time, a woman actually found herself fighting a barracuda within her canoe. The barracuda jumped out of the water and attacked her, and she did not leave that battle unscathed. To make matters worse, some species of barracuda are toxic, which just adds to an already bad situation. And for you Disney Pixar fans, it was a barracuda that killed Marlin's wife and ate most of his children at the beginning of Finding Nemo. 7. Leopard seal. Many of you likely hear the word seal and think of the ones that exist at water parks or are shown on the Discovery Channel or Animal Planet in a way that makes them cute. But never forget, they are animals, and animals hunt, and in some places, certain seals are the top of the food chain, such as in the Antarctic, where the leopard seal reigns supreme, and they're the ones you definitely need to fear, even if you don't see them on the ground. Leopard seals are known for their fierce and aggressive nature, which is something most wouldn't associate with a seal. They can be as long as 13 feet in length, and then there's its weight of 1,300 plus pounds, which makes it very powerful. But don't let those measurements fool you. When they're in the water, they're blazing fast, which makes them a serious threat to anything on its food list. And these creatures are clever. They know that they can bust through most ice in the Antarctic waters, so they'll swim below it and wait for something like a penguin to come to where they're waiting. Then they'll burst through the ice and nab it. Easy dinner. So whether you're in the water or on the icy land, you're not safe from a leopard seal. But do they actually hurt humans, you might be asking? Well, yes and no. Because of their location in the Antarctic, they don't cross very much. However, that doesn't mean they haven't met. And when they have, it almost always goes bad for the humans, including the death of a scientist back in 2003, and many other attacks have been recorded. It's easy to think of a seal and think of a creature that is kind, but just like all animals in nature, there are kind ones and there are mean ones. The leopard seal is a mean one. 6. Sea urchin, flower urchin. Picture this, you're swimming through the ocean and you know to be on the lookout for dangers. Where do you look? For most, they look through the nearby waters for things that they know will actively attack them if given the chance. But in truth, you should be looking everywhere, including the floor of the ocean you're in, because there's dangers there too. And as many swimmers and divers have made note of over the years, one thing you absolutely have to look out for is the sea urchins. The sea urchin is easily one of the most deceptive things out there in the waters of the world, or sometimes you don't notice it, and then you step in the wrong place and you feel its spines going through your foot, leg, arm, or wherever it may be relative to your position. The mere fact that these things are all over the ocean is terrifying, but when you hear about the flower urchin, your skin will crawl. Why should you fear the flower urchin? It's because it has the ability to leave bits of itself in you when it stings you, and the parts that are left pump poison into your body. That's right, some sea urchins are toxic, and the flower urchin is the worst of the bunch. It has toxins like contracin A, which can cause your muscles to spasm, while petatoxin can cause convulsions, allergic reactions, and yes, it can kill you in some instances. So be careful out there in the ocean, because dangers are all over and some of them won't look like threats right away. Speaking of which, 5. Stonefish. The sea urchins are something you must look out for, but the same thing goes for the stonefish, and even more so in some ways, as this is unquestionably the most venomous fish on the planet. And one of its key physical attributes is that it likes to camouflage itself into its environment, so at times you'll never see it coming, until it's too late. But it's not just the fear of not seeing it you should be worrying about. The venom should terrify you too. It's not only lethal depending on how much you get, it's one of the most painful toxins in the world. People who have gotten stung by it are known to beg for their limbs to be taken off just so the pain would stop. That's true pain. As noted, it loves to be on the floor of the ocean, and it'll just blend in with the natural plant life and inanimate objects and just wait. And then when something steps on it, it'll strike with its 13 poison-filled spines. There is good news though. The stonefish is found mainly in Australia. Thanks to the study of the fish, the authorities and medical personnel are ready for people who get stung by it, and thus no one in the region has died from a sting by the stonefish in about 100 years. However, you should still be wary of it, because just because the cure is out there doesn't mean you'll get to it in time. Number 4. Blue-ringed octopus. It would have been really easy to put the entire octopus species on this list because of their nature at times and how they can attack humans. But one that is easily separated from the others is the blue-ringed octopus. For not only does it use camouflage, but it has one of the most deadly toxins in the world, tetrodotoxin. If this toxin sounds familiar, it's because this is the same poison that can be found in pufferfish, as well as the infamous poison dart frog. What's really terrifying, though, is that it can actually change colors based on the situation. When it's just trying to get by in the water, it'll blend in with the environment and hide in plain sight. Then, when it gets threatened, it'll turn its skin yellow and reveal the blue rings that give it its name, and then lash out at those foolish enough to get in its space. And some things can't help but lash out, and they regret it instantly. Tetrodotoxin is incredibly potent and is able to kill a human at the slightest touch of it, and because of the size of the blue-ringed octopus, it's easy to miss getting stung by it, but it'll become very apparent when it happens. So be cautious of any octopus, especially if it looks like it has rings on its body. 3. Box jellyfish. There are many jellyfish species in the sea and oceans of the world, and all should be avoided for one reason or another. But few are as dangerous as the box jellyfish, or it's also known as the sea wasp because of its sting, and it's deadly to a fault. This is because the box jellyfish has the second most powerful venom in the world, second only to the sea cone, which easily puts it in a league of its own. In the waters around Australia, where the box jellyfish is known to live, the creature has caused over 60 deaths, which is poetic given that a single box jellyfish is said to have enough venom to kill exactly 60 people. Imagine if these things were more aggressive in the waters. It would be a massacre at times. What's worse, the box jellyfish's venom is known to be excruciating in its pain level, and sometimes the stingers that inject the venom will actually remain on the victim and continue stinging them. And if that's not enough, due to the potency of the venom, you could be dead within 5 minutes. Do I really have to say to be on the lookout for this jellyfish when you're visiting Australia? Number 2. Pufferfish. You might think it odd that this particular creature is near the top of this list. I mean, the pufferfish has a face that is surprisingly expressive when it's regular and relaxed. But when the time comes to inflate itself, it becomes one of the deadliest things in all of the ocean. Why is that? Well, the pufferfish has a toxin that is feared all over the world, tetrodotoxin. And this fish is literally infused with it from top to bottom, gill to gill. So the slightest touch of this fish on your skin will leave you dead, period. The fear of the pufferfish is so grand that it's full-on illegal to bring these fish into most of the countries in the world. The reason for this is that while you can make it into a delectable meal, you have to know how to do so without leaving any of the poison in it. And that's very hard to do. So unless you go to Japan, you can never eat pufferfish, which is probably a good thing. I mean, why risk it? Number 1. Sharks. While hardly surprising, it makes sense to put one of the most publicly feared creatures on the top of this list. And while it's true that not all sharks hurt humans or even go after them when in the same waters, that doesn't mean they're not incredibly deadly when they want to be. At present, there are actually only a few species of sharks that have been known to attack humans, which, given 400 species of sharks out there, it's a very low number. The ones you need to fear the most are ones like the legendary great white, the bull shark, tiger shark, hammerhead, and others of that kin. But there are also very peaceful ones that just want to live their lives, like the nurse shark, lemon shark, whale shark, basking shark, etc. Still, they deserve to be on the top of the list because they do attack humans, and when they do, it's not pretty at all. Their teeth are made to catch and rip apart prey. While many have survived shark attacks, it's usually because of luck, and they're not the same afterwards. A beach in Florida is actually known as the shark attack capital of the world because of all the shark attacks that happen. And places like California, South Africa, Australia, and more have had numerous attacks over the years. Add that to things like Jaws, The Meg, Shark Week, and more, and you can see why humans know instinctively to flee if sharks are in the area. Thanks for watching! Which of these sea creatures do you truly feel is the deadliest of the bunch? Which ones do you already know to stay away from? And have you met any of these ocean creatures before?